Well, hello my beauties, and welcome to my very first video in my brand new studio. I am so ecstatic, over the moon, and thank you guys to everybody who congratulated me. I am so excited. So we're gonna see how this goes, if the lighting's good, if my setup's all right. We're gonna give it a run as my first video here, see how it goes. But what we are covering today is my beauty advent calendars for 2025. So if you've been around here, you'll know that I have been doing a lot of beauty advent calendars. We've been covering almost all of them I could think of, spoilers, unboxings, you name it. And so now it's time for a recap and review, and we're going to rank them. This is going to be all the ones I have done, not ones I've covered spoilers for but haven't tried myself. It's all the ones I have actually purchased or gotten in PR and have unboxed and received. I want to give you kind of a ranking of how they all compare to each other, kind of the best of best beauty advents for 2025. So if that interests you, kick back and we'll dig right into it. All right, and so I will let you know I do have a full playlist out there on the channel called 2025 Beauty Advent Calendars. It's everything we've covered related to beauty advent calendars for this year. So you can check out all the reviews, all the unboxings, the spoilers, you name it, all of that. So I also kind of want to give you the criteria of how we're ranking this. Now, I'm trying to definitely consider your value of what you're getting. Like, for the price, how many full sizes were in it, deluxe sizes, the mix of products, were they exciting, were they lackluster, all of that. And of course, it's always hard to compare US calendars to the UK calendars. We've talked about this many times because the UK ones are always the best. So we've got all different price points too. So I'm definitely taking that into consideration, but I'm also taking into consideration just what I love and like, what are Cher's favorites? What are the things that really excited me, even if it wasn't great value? And then because I try to focus on cruelty-free on my channel, I'm looking at like how much of a mix is there in these boxes of cruelty-free versus not cruelty-free products. So those are some of the things I'm looking at as my criteria. I'm trying to keep in mind just the value from your perspective versus just what excites me. Okay, so I'm thinking, it was really hard. I was going back and forth. I know better like what I like at the top, but it's hard to rank when I get to the bottom. But I'm gonna go ahead and rank the Macy's 12 Days of Lips Beauty Advent Calendar in last place. I still loved it. It was so cute. It's this packaging, guys, that got me. But you can see it's already falling apart. I can't even figure out how to put it back together. So I'm like, don't be drawn by the fancy packaging. I mean, it's so cute. It was a gimmicky, awesome marketing strategy. Kudos to Macy's, but that was why I bought this advent, was these lips. This package right here. The advent calendar itself, not that great. I mean, it was cute. It was a good way to get a bunch of lippies, but to be honest with you, most of the lips in there, they weren't even like holiday season colors and shades. Lots of pinks and neutrals, probably what really sells best for them, but it didn't end up being that festive in there. I love my lip products, so I went for it, and I was excited about it because of the lips. There was one in there that I loved, the Carolina Herrera. That was the most exciting to me. And of course it was a lot of good ones, but everything was mostly sample size. I think it was 2 or 3 full sizes. Now it was $99, so it wasn't a terrible price, but still for $99, I do think you should be getting a lot more than just a bunch of little baby sample sizes. So overall, I felt like the value, the excitement for me wasn't as much there. And also most everything in there was not cruelty-free. There was a couple that were cruelty-free, but most of it was not, being a luxury advent. So that's last place. All right, next place. You know how hard this is for me. If you know me and you've been around my channel, you know I love my Tatcha and you know how excited I was for it. But I am basing this solely on like the value, what you're getting, not on my excitement. I'm not factoring in the share excitement. And this is a cruelty-free, amazing luxury brand. So it is all cruelty-free, but mostly because I am factoring in value. The Tatcha Beauty Advent Calendar. I actually was going to put this a lot higher because I loved it and it brought me so much joy. So I really do rank it much higher for me and my own personal pleasure, but I really am trying to think in terms of your general, you know, my audience. And what I do know is that the value here is quite terrible compared to most advent calendars, even compared to the ones in the US. So you spent a hefty bit of money, like $225, I think. And you got 12 days and they were all little deluxe sizes. There was not one single full size. So I do feel like an advent calendar that's offering all deluxe sizes should probably lower their price a little bit. I just don't think that the price was great. And this was their first beauty advent calendar. And I know one comment they made on my TikTok about this was they kind of designed it to be like, try all the goodies and see which one you like the best. It's like a sampler's advent calendar. Still, I think you could make it a little more affordable for just all deluxe samples. I still love, love, love my Tatcha. Like I said, I'm only ranking this for you guys, not for me. Okay, in next place, this is so hard to rank, guys. It's not because it's bad at all. I think it's a great little advent, but I'm going to say, whoop, I'm going to say the MCoBeauty advent calendar. Now, it was only 20 bucks and it has over $70 of value, so it was a great value. I think I'm just ranking it lower, mostly because it's all one brand, so you have to love MCoBeauty for it, and it was all little mini samples. So I think for me, I'm ranking it based on the excitement of what you're getting. I thought it was an excellent little deal if you want to try MCoBeauty, which I do. I was wanting to try it and I was wanting to like kind of check out these dupes compared to their original products and all. So this was a great way for me to get these products on a deal, but I think it's only for like those interested in this specific brand. So that's the only reason. They are cruelty free, so everything's cruelty free. Great price and value. I think it's just that it's all samples in one little brand and kind of lower end like drugstore brand. So for me, it's not as exciting. I definitely favor the luxury products you're gonna get in other boxes. All right, next we have the Sephora Advent Calendar, the US one. $99. What was the value on it? $296 of retail value. And I've heard so many other reviewers, everybody's given this a negative review as far as the value goes. Most everything are like baby sizes. And I mean, it's fun and festive, right? But baby sizes, I think I remember 3 full sizes after I got done with mine. Sorry, this is probably distracting. I had to put my little twinkle lights up in my studio. I definitely love the twinkle light idea. I need more decoration back here too. I'm looking for some things to decorate with you guys. And I'm trying to figure out like which corners or walls I want to film on. But anyway, I digress. So Sephora Advent, I think it's just the value. It's all sample or almost all samples or like deluxe and sample. You got only like 2 or 3 full sizes. I did think the mix of products were great though. I was very excited about this one. So I'm not ranking this based on my excitement factor. I actually loved this because I got some new things I did really enjoy from it. And the full-size products that you did get in here, I thought were really good to make those the full-size products. So I actually loved it, but I'm ranking it very low because of you're paying $99 and for what you're getting, you know, is just, you're not getting a lot. So that was hard to rank it that way, but I am really considering the value factor on this. And a mix of some cruelty-free and some not. So it was like, it was all mixed, I think. Okay, so the Target ones, I've got a couple different videos. One was the Target beauty calendars alone. So a skincare one, a spa one, and a regular beauty one. Then you have the Ulta at Target ones that are like, there were two of those. So all of them I thought were pretty good because they were priced so well. They were all like 12-day ones. We're gonna start at, in lowest place, I think, for me personally, was the regular Target skincare one. Now I'm missing a little door. I think all of these Target ones were $20, if I remember that correctly, or 25, 20 or 25. And they were 12 days. But everything again was like babies for the most part. A couple of these you'd get like one full size or two. And it was just probably the least exciting one of all of them to me, but I still thought it was fantastic. This one in particular was valued at over $59 and you spent like 20 bucks. So I think it was like kind of the least value. But yeah, I still think excellent price. Also, the other thing was that most everything was like drugstore brand stuff because it was all the things you'd sell at Target. So for me, it's less excitement personally when it's like drugstore items. But I thought the value for the price, like it's such an affordable advent. I think it's an exciting one for a Target, you know, and it was all the skincare to try at Target. The next place, I say the Target spa one, which was my personal favorite of the three. But I'm ranking it a little lower than the main one because I feel like the main one's what everybody's excited about. So this one was another one. It was 20 bucks, I think, valued at over 63. So you're getting a little more value than the other one. And it was all like spa products, masks and tools and like some nice skincare, you know, things to pamper yourself. It was kind of your self-care box. So I really like that. Again, I thought it was a great value, mix of all different brands, but mostly drugstore brands at Target. And then of course you have the regular like full beauty one, more of your makeup and just a mix of all different beauty. This is kind of the main Target one. When people think of the Target beauty advent calendar, this is what they think of. So I ranked it a little higher. Again, just excellent price, lots of value, but again, like samples mostly. And then I can't remember, one or two full-size products. Again, all drugstore. It was very heavy on e.l.f. and I'm not doing as much e.l.f. anymore. So I'm kind of factoring that into a mix of cruelty-free and not cruelty-free. So it's kind of in the middle. Then I'm ranking the Ulta at Target calendars a little bit above that because even though you're paying a little bit more, these were like 40 and 45. But they had a mix of all brands you'd get at Ulta. So there were some higher end brands and there were like medium end and then a little bit drugstore too, but it was a mix of all different price points. Again, pretty much mostly deluxe sizes though. But you had like one or two and one that I think they were confused on, full sizes. So it wasn't all minis, but mostly minis. And I just really liked the mix of these, and that's why I'm ranking them a little higher, but you're paying more for it. But still, like 40 bucks and 45 bucks is excellent for a beauty advent calendar. And so like when you compare this, say, to that Sephora calendar, now granted, there's only 12 in this one. So I guess you can consider that. But I just think it's a great like little mix of a lot of products. I think I just liked it as still a very affordable like option to get, you know. So I'm actually ranking the Joyful Beauty one a little lower. I don't know, I just liked the skincare one better. So I ranked the skincare above the other beauty one. The skincare was only $100 value, and I think it was a little cheaper, like 40. And then the Joyful Beauty was $139 value, maybe 45. And I might have that mixed up and different. Yeah. But yeah, it's just, I kind of like this one a little better. All right, next we have then just the plain Ulta 24 Days of Beauty. And I loved this one. Now, I think that some folks in my video thought I didn't because I kept talking about the small sizes. No, I really loved it. I love the mix of it. So it's actually ranking pretty high. I thought it was a great little mix of products. I definitely thought that it had major mini sizes that I kept emphasizing. And I kind of compared it to the Sephora one. I thought it was somewhat equivalent, but the difference was this was much cheaper. So this one was $79 as opposed to $99. So I thought what you were getting versus the Sephora one was a little better. You still had a couple, I think, full sizes. I think it just, maybe the mix of products were a little different, but I think it was the fact that it was a little bit more affordable. Like I felt like $79 was just an excellent price point. Okay, the Bloomingdale's 12 Days of Fragrance Advent. So I'm ranking it a little lower just because of like the value that's there, and it's very low cruelty-free ratio because the fact that it's luxury perfumes, and you tend to not see a lot of cruelty-free and luxury perfumes, but it's a fragrance advent. I have been really wanting to go for that. For the fragrance lovers, you know, it might really rank high. And it's ranking higher because I loved getting to try all the fragrances in it. It turned out that I didn't love all the fragrances though. So, you know, it was like half and half for me, but just getting to try them is great. $125 for $344 value. You know, I feel like there's some others that had at least more retail value in it, and they were all travel in like mini sizes. So anywhere from 5 mil up to about 10 mil. 10 mil was the most you were getting. Now, at those sizes, they're still worth a lot, right? But just, you know, it's all little small ones, but it is great to kind of have like a sampler. I mean, I guess $125 is not bad to get to try a bunch of different fragrance, luxury fragrance when you do think about it. But I think there's better value on other advent calendars and maybe some more cruelty-free options. Okay, I could not figure out where to put Ipsy in here, but we're gonna rank Ipsy next. Still kind of in the middle, guys. Now, this was what, like almost 150, 25 days. And I think if I remember, it was like 15 full sizes. And then I think it was like over $600 retail value. I mean, so right there, it's like a $500 difference. Pretty good, I think. Like the value could have been better. I think it's good for a US calendar, I guess. Certainly better than like the Sephora value, you know. But I think that the critiques with it was there was a lot of kind of repeat products in here. If you're an Ipsy member and you do Ipsy a lot and you shop the shop a lot and you've done the box for a long time, is a lot of their repeats and things you've seen before, I think. But there were some really good things they put as full-size products too. So that's where they're getting a lot more points for me, is there was a lot of full-size products. And I mean, there was a mix of a lot of things, and I got a lot of value out of it personally. So, and then it was a mix of cruelty-free and non-cruelty-free. Now, Ipsy tends to do mostly cruelty-free, so it was majority cruelty-free, I think, if I remember. So that's another positive as well. All right, we're getting to the tippity top, guys. Next, I'm gonna rank my Herods 12 Days of Hair and Body. I didn't go for the big full one. Had a lot of like woody perfumes in that one that I didn't know if I was gonna like. So I was really drawn to the 12 Days of Hair and Body, and this was gorgeous. And this was the first advent that came in for me. So I was the most excited for this one. And since things are falling out, I still just love the packaging. Isn't that gorgeous? I really loved this one. I liked the mix of hair. It was kind of a mix of everything. I just loved the products, but it was only hair and body specifically. So if you're not as into that and you want like a full range of things, maybe not as good. And that's why I'm not ranking it quite as high. But for the fact that I wanted the hair and body and these particular mix of products, they really excited me. So overall, really loved it. There was just a few more that I rank a little higher. All right, the Saks Fifth Avenue Advent Calendar. Oh my goodness, this was so beautiful, so exciting. Absolutely loved it. The only reason I'm not ranking it quite as high as the others is it was very perfume heavy, very like fragrance heavy, which on one hand, I loved that. And I found my Baccarat Rouge, which is my new signature scent that I am madly in love with. So I have nothing but positive love for this advent. But I thought it could have been a little bit more balanced. Do an actual fragrance advent maybe. So it was very heavy fragrance, and I was probably split half and half. I don't know. There was a few I did not like, and then a few I loved, and some in the middle. So it would have been nice to spread out the products just a little bit more. It was, of course, very pricey. This might have been my most expensive advent I spent money on. I did a lot of kind of like all ranges. I didn't end up going for the really high end ones, and I didn't go for some of the UK ones that are more or in this price range. This was my expensive one. So factoring that in, that it's pricey, but what you're getting in value, this was worth $1,450 of retail value. So incredible value. A lot of it was probably the fragrance, but the fragrance that you got was all samples. You weren't getting like any full size samples. I mean, full size fragrance by any means. So it's like, I think that that's what it is that because it was a lot of fragrance, it was a lot of samples or mini sizes. So I would have loved more full sizes, and you didn't get hardly any full sizes in this either. It was skimpy, lots of deluxe. Now it was a great range of luxury products. I loved the products that were in here. But I think that's why I haven't ranked it like number one. All right, we are coming into third place. This was so hard, y'all. I kept going back and forth on these top three, but I think I'm gonna say the FabFitFun advent calendar. So it was like 85. It was in the 80s. So I felt like it's under $100, which is an excellent price point. And the stuff they put in here, I loved it because it had a mix of like full-size products. I mean, it was 12 days, but it was like full-size products, and then your mix of things were so fun. I loved what I got in mine, and I honestly loved this one a lot more than the Ipsy one, I have to say. Definitely rank it higher than the Ipsy because of the mix of things. They were so fun. I got fragrance in it, I got a candle that I love, and I got cute fuzzy socks that I love. I mean, so I think the fact that they put style in there and other like fun things and coziness and stuff, not just the beauty products, I loved that about it, which is one of the things I love about FabFitFun too. And then I felt like the price point was really good. And I think the retail was maybe in the 300s or something. So you still got a good bit of value for being under $800. So I thought it was really good. This was almost my number one because of it, but the next two we're going to talk about why they're higher. Okay. I almost put this in number one too, because it is all full-size products. 25 full-size products. You heard that right. The Stylvana 25 Moments of Cheer. So it's a K-beauty box. Now I will give you a disclaimer. I was gifted this one. I did not pay for it with my own money, but that is not affecting my review. Because I think it speaks for itself. Being all full-size products, it is absolutely unheard of, and it was such a good price for what you're getting. I think it was 200 something, but for all full-size products, incredible. And there was still a good bit of retail. So it was all like very popular K-beauty products too. You had a little mix of makeup, skincare. So if you're a K-beauty lover, it is an amazing calendar. And there's a reason why it sold out on the first day, is because it is that good. And then it sold out again when it restocked. So I'm ranking it so high. The reason it's not number one is just because it's specifically K-beauty. And so I guess I'm just thinking of the factor of like, does this really appeal to like absolutely everyone or no? I think it's so niche specific. All right, so are you ready for my number one? I am going to rank the Revolve 25 Days of Revolve Beauty. I just think that this is one of your best beauty advent calendars in the United States. Since I haven't done a lot of the other UK ones, I can tell you though, for a US calendar, this is behind maybe like the Blue Mercury one. Like, this is the best one. The best. This was so good. So 840 retail value, something like that. And we paid under 200. I think it was 180, 150, something like that. 25 days. I think it had 10 full sizes, which isn't quite half, but it was very good, full sizes, and such a great mix of products in here. And we got Barefoot Dream socks. Barefoot Dream socks. So that sealed the deal. No, I just really thought like this was one of your best calendars, like bang for your buck. You got your money's worth in it. And the mix of products were so good and exciting. And they were all the kind of products people love and that are very popular, and a great like mix of all different things. Wasn't too heavy in one area or the other. Yeah, it was the best, I think. So that is my number one. So that wraps it up, guys. Let me know what you think. If I think about it too much, I could change my mind and completely reorder some of these rankings, but that's kind of where I'm at. Again, I was just trying to figure out all these different factors, you know, and if I was basing it on shares excitement and my favorites, it would be very different from how I ranked it probably, because I was really trying to consider other people and what they would want, I think, and the overall value and stuff. So that's why my Tatcha fell so low. Not because I didn't love it, because I loved it. All right, so that wraps it up, guys. I had been waiting on this video to try to see if I was going to do a lot more advent calendars. There's not a lot more out there. I think it's possible I could still pick up a couple more, but I still wanted to give you enough time before the holidays too to see this video and kind of evaluate which ones are better than others. So I thought maybe it was about time. So definitely check out the playlist if you haven't seen it. Stick around if you want to see a lot more reviews similar to this and more holiday beauty and makeup. Cruelty-free beauty. We do a lot of curations, beauty boxes, subscription boxes, all the best of the best. I spend all the money so you don't have to. So you definitely want to pop that subscribe if that's your jam. Thank you guys for coming along on my very first video in my studio, and I'll catch you guys all in the next one. Bye.